I know Dan very well. Obviously, when you're involved in politics, you get to work kind of side by side with each other quite a bit. So I've been fortunately to spend several years with Dan, kind of in the trenches, so to speak. I kind of refer to Dan as the everywhere man. When you're involved in politics, you have tons of meetings and obligations you have to go to, and it's amazing to me how Dan, works his schedule, because it seemed like everyone I was at, or even some that I could miss, I would actually see Dan posted up on Facebook. So he is definitely an old school kind of politician, which I think is missed in our country these days. He really gets out with the people and with his constituents and understands what their issues are, and really goes back to the State House and tries to make legislation that really works for all of us. And when you look at the kind of the budget cycle we're in right now, where we have huge funding gaps, just a perfect example of that is what Dan did for us here in Jenks. We were the first intersection with the all electronic tolling, and Dan authored the original legislation for that, and it actually saved about $6 million for our project alone. So you multiply that across the state, the savings are tremendous. And that's the kind of legislation we need, our representatives at the State House working for us to do, not legislation that's going to hold our cities back or create more of a bureaucracy that they have to, fund more government. We need government that works for the people, that works for the cities of Jenks and Tulsa and the rest of Oklahoma. Dan is definitely a guy that does that. Probably one of the most memorable days I had as mayor of Jenks was a day that it was raining for our Christmas parade, and I felt so bad for a lot of the kids and the parents that were out there having to go through the parade that I thought, you know what, I'm going to get out there and just shake everybody's hand as they're walking by. And Dan had his family in a horse-drawn buggy, and they were one of the last ones to come through. And when he saw me, he jumped out of the buggy, and we ended up walking the whole parade route. And we talked about the legislation for the all electronic tolling and how we could be successful in that effort to get that legislation passed, because it was huge for the savings that it would have for our project. But it was just a fun day. Here we are out in the rain. He was willing to get out of the buggy that was, carrying his family through the parade route and walk with me and shake hands and do business. And it was definitely one of the funnest days as mayor for me. Dan epitomizes integrity when it comes to his family life. He is a tremendous family man, a strong Christian with great convictions. He definitely wears it on his sleeve every day. I think every walk of his life is about what God has planned for him, and he truly listens to that voice and has the best intentions for all of us. And I think that starts with his foundation, with his faith. When it comes to his family, all you have to do is look at Facebook and see how important his family is to him. He's got his kids sitting in his desk up at the Senate. Whether he's out on the farm, his life revolves around his family. And when you think about being in the public eye and the commitments that you have throughout the state, throughout the district for him, it's amazing how much family time he does work in. So I respect him tremendously for that. So often I would think when you're put in that kind of position, it would be easy to get caught up in the meetings, get caught up in the limelight and the success of your station. But I don't think Dan has ever demonstrated that one bit. He's always been extremely humble. His family comes first, his faith comes first, and when it comes to his state, I think that's reflected in everything he does, the legislation that he puts forward, the work he does in the community. He is a man of extreme integrity. I think Dan's got a proven record. It's easy to look at his record and see what kind of leader he's been for the state of Oklahoma. I think it would be a tremendous loss to our district, for Jenks especially, and the surrounding communities that he represents, because he is such a leader within the Senate. He's recognized among his peers for the many committees that he serves upon. So he's highly respected among his peers. He's in very strong leadership positions. It would be a shame to lose Dan. We definitely need to re-elect him and get him back.